Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this new figure showcase and review we're going to be looking at the Legacy United. This is the Cliffjumper from the Prime Universe from the new Versus 4-pack. So in this video we're going to have a detailed look at him in both his modes, help you decide how you want to display him. We're going to compare him with his original Transformers Prime figure himself. We'll have a look at the original owner of the mold and see what the differences are. We've got some other Legacy Transformers Prime figures to see how he displays with them, and of course some of the other figures from this new toy line to see how the wave is in fact moving on. So as I start to pack all these away, I'd like to remind everybody who's not subscribed to the channel, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now please, because it really will help me out, and also to thank Hasbro for their very kind lend of this figure so I can get this first official review out and show you, I suppose, just how good this particular figure is. Right, so before we get into the actual figure, let's look at the packaging, and I know that loads of people are going to be really pleased to see that they've got the inclusion of the plastic windows back. Now there was obviously a bit of a background behind it as well with the figures attached to, but that was of course taken off when we had these figures in display at the Comic-Con. We've got some great, let me get that glare off there, artwork there of Cliffjumper himself. As I say, all the other figures will get their own individual reviews, as I feel they deserve a video to themselves. And we can see on the back that he's going to take 18 steps to transform, but I will be uploading a separate tutorial video as well of that to help people out and also to keep the length of the video down. Right, here's the figure itself then, and to be honest, I think loads of people guessed as soon as they saw the chase figure that they would be retooled into Cliffjumper, and you know what, they've done a really good job with it. The front bumper, all the detail there is great, all the wheels again on individual pins, they all look great as well. They've blacked out the windows just enough so you can't see exactly what's going on through there. It is translucent plastic, and you probably noticed there, unfortunately this one's got a little bit of damage to it on the inside, but obviously one of your brand new ones won't be having that at all. We've got the Autobot logos either side as well, which look great. And also I hope you can tell that this isn't just like a dull gunmetal grey, it's got like a reflective sheen to it as well, so I think it looks really good. We've got all of these little accessories that you can pretty much combine and put onto the vehicle if you wanted to. There's a few different combinations that you can do with all of these. Again, there's loads, to be honest. You can combine these with the actual parts there. You can pop them on by themselves independently if you wanted to. You could also attach this to the back like so, and then you can start attaching all these to it as well. There's just an abundance of combinations of things that you can do. Pretty much, again, you know, exactly what you could do with the chase mold, which of course was Rescue Bot's chase. I'm just going to show you a couple of things that you can do with this. The weapon, of course, though, is drastically different from the original Transformers Prime one, so we won't look at that, but we will look at the vehicle itself. So it is a little bit smaller in length. It's not as chunky. The red is slightly different. Of course, again, you can see the windows on the original are translucent, and this one, again, they look really good. They're both good figures in their own right, but of course with this being Legacy, they're sort of they're changing the style ever so slightly. Same with RC, same with Bulkhead, but I think it still looks good, and it is still a good homage to the original figure that crazily enough now is, you know, well over 10 years old itself. So there are the two side by side. There they are together there. To give you an idea with some, I suppose, Legacy figures, there's your deluxe drag strip, so nowhere near as big as that, but about the same sort of size or a bit bigger than the Jurassic Park Jeep. To be honest, there's not really much more to say about the alternate mode, apart from I think they've nailed it. I think it looks good, but I will be displaying when I get this myself in the robot mode. So let's come back and have a look at him in his robot mode and do the rest of the comparisons as well. So here he is in his robot mode, and let's start off with having a quick look at his articulation. So the head sculpt looks really good. I do like that. Hopefully you can make out that the eyes inside there are blue as well. The head will look up and down, no problem whatsoever, and it will swivel all the way around completely unrestricted, which is great. Now the shoulders, there is a little bit of restriction, and that's due to these at the back. Again, exactly the same as the chase mold. So the shoulders can come up, but only as far as that. They do get restricted, and of course course they are restricted when you're trying to spin the arm all the way around. These wings do get in the way. However, you've got the swivel at the shoulder, just pretty much the bicep, to be honest. You've got the bicep flexion as well, and unfortunately the wrists do not twist either. They are just stuck inside the forearm. To be honest, you can bring them out, but it doesn't look the greatest, but that's what you can do with them, and that isn't part of transformation either. So, but it does help if you want to start attaching some of the parts to him and not have it bashing up against the side. There is a waist swivel. It will go all the way around, even though you've got all of these bits on the back as well. And the hips will kick past a point of right angle. They won't come as far back though. It's restricted there by this skirt or top, I think it's the roof of the vehicle in honesty. And then you can swivel at again, it's just below on both of the joints. It's not right at the top in the thigh, and it's not right at the top in the shoulder. It's near enough by the knee. So it is sort of a thigh swivel. There is a knee bend, there is a toe tilt, ankle rock, etc. You can move and position all of these around. But again, I know we are quite familiar with this particular mold. So what I'll do then is I'll bring in the original owner of the mold first and foremost. So there, of course, is Chase. And, you know, you can see that there is quite a few differences. I love it when they do things like this, when they retool figures, and, you know, you've got to look at them and think, oh, what have they changed? And with this, you know, you can tell, obviously, the chest is slightly different. The back is quite a bit different, to be honest, because you've got no light bar up there. Everything else though, the legs, the back of the legs look okay. They all look the same. I think that's pretty much the major, apart from obviously the colours and the paint apps, it would just be the things, and the head sculpt really obviously as well. The legs and everything, this is slightly different because of course Chase doesn't have that, so that's the equivalent of Chase's light bars. Now you can again position all these in loads of different positions however you wanted to. It was sort of called like an Evo Fusion thing when it was with the legacy figures. I'm not sure, it might still be called an Evo Fusion, I'm not too sure. But again, this is where you need perhaps to sometimes be able to move the hand away. So if you see what I mean, if it was stuck right against there, you wouldn't be able to pose it exactly like that. So the wrist movement, it's not like what you'd expect. It's not like a twist or anything like that. A supination, I think, is the correct term. But yeah, it's good enough that you can actually use it for a certain purpose, and people who can pose figures way better than me for pictures, etc., will be able to do exactly that. But the other good thing is, because there's so many of these little pieces, there's, you know, 5mm points there, loads of these, so you can do loads of different things. You can also store loads of things on the back as well. So, you know, many of the accessories all have multi-functioning purposes, and of course you can fit blast effects to them all as well, because they are pretty much exactly the same size. Yep, there you go. So that'll work in any of the colors or any of the other blast effects that you've got. Right, let's move him out of the way. Now let's bring in the Transformers Prime figure. Now I think personally that this one is quite a bit better, but again, this figure's, I think it was 2011 if memory serves me correct. So, you know, we've got a good 12 years difference, because of course this was reused beforehand. This had the faux roof, which was very, very clever, whereas this is the actual roof. Big differences though in the figure with regards to how they've managed to clear up some of the gaps from the original toy. It looks like there's a faux wheel on the inside of the original one there as well, and also I think this one had quite a sort of finicky transformation as well. And the forearms were, it just, the whole bottom of the arm just sort of made him look a little bit out of proportion, pretty much like Generation 1 Wheeljack with the length of his arms, to be honest. Right, I think that's probably, in fact, let's just bring these two in just for people who want to, you know, pause it and have a real good detailed look at the differences between all of them. Let's move them out of the way. Just for a bit of fun, let's bring in some other Cliffjumper figures. So obviously that's the War for Cybertron, newest version of him, and this is his original Generation 1 self. So massive differences between them. Same name, pretty much same character, but of course different toy line continuities. Right, let's bring in these guys now then. So this figure, again, some people like it, some people don't. I think she looks good, but I you know, I've not watched all of the primes over and over again, and it wasn't my Generation 1, so I do appreciate that people don't like it for that particular reason. But there you go, that is some of the Autobots from the Transformers Prime Well, they're calling it the Prime Universe, aren't they? So they're not exact replicas of them particular figures. Here are some of the other figures that have been released with, or not in exactly the same line, but at the same time. So we've got like some of the new Studio Series 86 figures, just to give you an idea. So we've got, and with of course the Legacy. And if I bring Swoop in the background, who is of course a leader class, he is much bigger. So it does give you an idea, and he does, I suppose, sort of, oh, I've knocked Springer over now, feel and look a bit more like a mini bot when you put all these other big figures around him. But as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to be doing all of the other figures individually. Squeeze Play's already up. He's a great figure, and as I say, when we get to the end of it, the box set, I'll do a big overall review of them all as well. But in the meantime, this is the 4-pack Legacy United Prime Universe Cliffjumper figure. Let me know what you think of him in the comments, guys. Take care.